Cyberpunk 2077 is goated. In fact, it's so goated that not only did the game get an anime made after it, but the anime is actually good. And there's one scene in Cyberpunk Edgerunners that lives in my head rent-free, which is why I need to give you Chumbus the play-by-play on how Adam Smasher embarrassed, humbled, and destroyed David Martinez. But before we get to that, let's talk about how David even got into this mess. First of all, what is this music blessing your ears? It's basically David's theme song, and when this banger plays, you just know some broke man activities are about to go down. So in a nutshell, David is this universe's face of unemployment. And secondly, who is David? Well, he was a broke kid who attended Arasaka Academy because his mom grinded her ass off for him, but then she dies in the middle of a shootout on the highway, and this then takes David down the path of becoming a mercenary and a high school dropout after he chromes up to get revenge on a punk ass kid and crosses paths with a netrunner baddie called Lucy. David then rolls with the squad Lucy's in, and this absolute unit called the Main is the leader. They do a bunch of gigs together, and David even hooks up with Lucy, but then everything turns south once Main gets cyberpsychosis during a gig and flatlines in front of David, causing bro to replicate the 1,000-yard stare. And of course, we can't forget Main's iconic speech before he flatlined.
It's the end of the line for me, but not for you. Fast is what you do best, ain't it? Just keep running.
So after a time skip, David is now the captain of Main's group, and he's chromed the fuck up, and everything's going relatively well, but there are no good endings in Night City. So now it's David's turn to become a cyber psycho. But that won't stop him because he has to achieve Main and his mom's dream. Anyways, Lucy gets kidnapped because there's a couple of rats in David's crew who thankfully die horrible deaths, and David gets gaslit into using the Arasaka exoskeleton, and to be fair, he didn't really have a choice considering all the military cores and literal basilisk that was tailing his group. But before the rats died, David had a Hall of Fame crash out that will be used for edits to this very day.
Let him rip out his spine! I'll kill him! I'll kill him! You're dead! 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 Fucking dead! I'll fucking kill you!
That crash out was so impactful, you could really feel the pain in David's knee. So at this point, there's no saving David. He's gone way over the cyber capacity limit, but David's decided that if he's gonna flatline, then he's gonna go out swinging. So after David solos a whole ass army, bro attempts to perform the Don't Fear the Reaper, ending in Cyberpunk 2077 by storming Arasaka Tower to save Lucy. And calling me impressed, David actually got to the top of Arasaka Tower and achieved his mom's dream, just not in the way she thought would happen. But what's even more impressive is that David was manhandling Max Tack on his way to the tower. And if you're not familiar with Max Tack's game, then all you need to know is that they're a group of reformed cyber psychos who act as cops. So if the highest grade of cops weren't enough for David, then Arasaka had to send out the strongest legend in all of Night City, Adam Smasher. So once David gets to Lucy, this is where him and Smasher face off, and the hype is through the roof. They were talking smack to each other whilst one of the rats was getting crushed by David's gravity crusher, and I couldn't be more excited. But the rat almost snuck away because Trauma Team, which is a life insurance service for rich people, were carrying the rat to safety, so David had to bust out his signature Sandavastan, which lets him slow time temporarily to quickly make sure the rat stays down for good. But David being distracted here just gave Smasher the chance to send both him and Lucy flying out of the building. So after some reminiscing between Lucy and David in midair, they reach the ground, and so does Smasher, but he also decides to squash a goated member of David's crew in the process. Rest in peace, Rebecca. But for real, this anime does not give a shit about you. It doesn't even give you time to mourn deaths. The only thing on your mind is that you need to lock the fuck in because you're fighting a goddamn legend. So David activates his standee again, but then so does Smasher. And at this point, David might as well just jump off a cliff, because when he said,
You have a Devastan?
A rudimentary implant.
I was feeling heavy secondhand embarrassment. Imagine finding out the thing you're known for isn't actually impressive. And to top it all off, David just ran out of his meds, so there's no path to victory in sight here. But David's gonna make sure that Lucy at least escapes Night City and makes it to the moon. And there you go. David tries his best, but he didn't even lay a scratch on Smasher. He dies with a smile on his face, and the series ends with Lucy achieving her dream of reaching the moon. So this is why everyone should play Cyberpunk 2077 77 because the main character in that game actually gets strong enough to dog walk Adam Smasher. But hey, even though that ending was bittersweet, I could definitely see it coming, because if you start hearing the no more running from me dog music in any situation, then you just have to accept your fate. So like, subscribe and comment something before I flatline you like Smasher did to Rebecca. Okay then, see you all in the next video.